tell you the truth, my why has been like all over the place my entire life. But when you finally get farther in your career, you can kind of start narrowing things down to certain things. And, you know, your why could be like your family, your kids, or like that freedom of life and be able to do things you want to do in life. So, I mean, that's it. Really, it's a book that gets your mind thinking of like what your why should be.
Welcome out, everybody. We're here with Chris Lyle, who is the founder and CEO of Law Hustle. And today we're going to be talking about, man, what kind of groups and podcasts and books have inspired him along his journey. Chris, what are some of the books along your path that have brought inspiration to you?
I mean, I've read tons in my life, actually. I wish I had more time to read books because there's a lot of great books out there that I just haven't had a chance to read yet. So, I mean, one of the best ones that I think that really hit home was the book Finding Ultra from Rich Roll. I don't know if anybody's familiar with Rich Roll. He's a very big activist in the plant-based community. He's a really cool guy. But his story is a very unique, transformative one where, like, he grew up as a swimmer. I was a swimmer when I grew up, so it made, I can relate to the struggles he's kind of gone through.
Absolutely. Yeah, what was inspiring in that book for you?
For me, he grew up as a swimmer. He got into college. He swam in college. He became an alcoholic, and he had this struggling story where he became an attorney, but he also was a struggling alcoholic at the same time. And he transformed, and he decided, I'm going to cut it off, and I'm going to stop. And he transformed into this superhuman athlete, and did some crazy athletic events that nobody would even attempt to even try. So like just this whole story of like how he came from like a struggle in life to destroying his career to completely transforming his way of life. And now he has a thriving podcast. He has his book, and like, he's just a very, down to earth, cool guy. Like, and his transformative story, like, really just hits home because anybody can relate to that, and you can transpire into any of that into as a personal life or your business, right? Like, business is about like bringing something that you enjoy doing into the limelight, right? But there's a lot of transitional periods where you're bringing your business into the light, right? So anyway, just that story, just great.
Yeah,
story.
I think it's impossible for your business to grow without you also growing as an individual, right? They're tied together when you are the entrepreneur, you're the business owner. Or even in just your career development. One of the things I really liked from Rich Roll is he talked about like he didn't reach his athletic peak until he was 43. He didn't write his first book till he was 44 and all these other things. And he goes, at 30, I thought my life was over. At 52, I know it's just beginning. And I love that mindset of like, it's really any time that you get to reinvent yourself and start doing things. It's never, whatever time that is for you is the right time. What are some other books that impacted you?
Other books that have kind of impacted me, just books that people have mentioned. Like, there's a book called Find Your Why by, Simon Sinek is the name of the book, the author of the book. And, it's really digging into the details of, like, why do you do what you do? Like, what is your why in life? Like, why do you continually get up every day? Why do you continually to push forward? And why do you continue to do something? Everybody has their why. And, like, to tell you the truth, my why has been like all over the place my entire life. But when you finally get farther in your career, you can kind of start narrowing things down to certain things. And, your why could be like your family, your kids, or like that freedom of life of being able to do things you want to do in life. So, that's it. Really, it's a book that gets your mind thinking of like what your why should be.
Absolutely. What about podcasts? What are you listening to these days?
Oh man, I'm a sucker for a lot of lawyer-related podcasts. I don't know why, I just am. I just like listening and hearing other people's stories and war stories because like I can relate to them, and then I also can say, well, that's what I'm going through. And like, how did they fix that? And then I fix it in my own law firm by doing something that they necessarily did. So like the best one that I think is out there is the Maximum Lawyer podcast. Those group of guys, they have their own Facebook group as well, and they just interview a ton of different lawyers in all walks of life and all practice areas. Not necessarily related to practice, but also like their day-to-day like life and like how they overcome certain challenges or like how you can make your practice better. I think it's a very good, informative podcast or any lawyer. You can get great tidbits out of that podcast all the time.
You know, I've heard it said once that a wise man learns from his mistakes, but a brilliant man learns from others' mistakes. And that's what I love about like podcasts like that, right? Is you get to learn what other people have done and stumbled on and been able to learn from that and maybe avoid making that mistake yourself. Any other podcasts that have been catching your ear recently?
Just other ones I listen to is like Law Entrepreneur is another one, right? It's the entrepreneurial mindset of, starting and building and growing your law firm. That's another one I kind of listen to just to kind of get tidbits out of all the time. There's a lot of other podcasts I listen to related around like technology and automation and things that you should be looking out for in regards to like technology community, because I'm like in that realm all the time. But those are probably like the top two podcasts I listen to,
Awesome.
plus like just a bunch of miscellaneous ones related to technology usually.
Cool. What about Facebook groups and communities online that you're gleaning information from these days?
I mean, the best one I think is that Maximum Lawyer group, in my personal opinion. I'm a lurker in the group. I really don't participate much in the group, but there's a lot of great information that just kind of shuffles through there all the time for law firm owners. Just figuring out like what the pay structure is should be for an associate you hire, like how should you structure bonuses, like a lot of things that you don't learn about as you're like as a solo attorney, or even like working for an associate for a big law firm. Like these things, logistical things you just don't know. But then you can ask somebody who've gone through the whole entire process, and you can help you figure out like, okay, that's how I should incentivize my attorneys I hire, or that's how I should incentivize my intake team to make sure that they're getting the best results. Like it's great.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. I mean, business is about helping us create the life we want, right? So a lot of times the people we want to connect with is more just about how they're getting through their life and what they're doing. If you have a podcast or a book or something that you think Chris should check out, share it with us in the comments. And in the meantime, like and subscribe to his so that you can make sure to get more information as he brings it up.